Okay, so we're back with the Ace Hardware mower. Couple last things I gotta finish up on it. Well, one main last thing I gotta finish up on it. Runs good, mows good, but still don't have no throttle control cable because the old one was all rusted up. So today I'm gonna work on putting a new one on there. I have one to put on. We'll get that put on, and then I still haven't washed it yet, so yeah, need to get this thing cleaned up. Well, we'll see if we can film this without any distractions this time. Got a throttle control cable here. It's an old one, but it's still new, never used. This happens to be it's Ace, going on Ace Hardware, so it'll be perfect fit. Of course, we're not going to use the this part. I don't need that. We don't need that. That one's perfectly fine. Even though I do have to fix this. This is broke. I think they have like these little plastic tabs, and they'd stick in these two holes here. They either broke off or they were just originally like snug fit. I don't know. But it's also a little bent too, so I gotta try to bend that out. It's at an angle too, but it might just be bent, or it's how it's designed. But we're gonna, and this here's bent, so I'm gonna have to get some vice grips or pliers or something and bend that out. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that mounted back on there, or it'll stay on. But this here, there's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly fine, other than being bent back in shape. Plus, I prefer the tall lever over the slide button anyway. So, all right, we'll get that out of the package. Let's start working on this. Now to remove this, we gotta remove this from that. So we're gonna have to pry open that. If I can find a small enough screwdriver. I don't know. We'll see if this one will work. Okay, I don't think that one's got a small enough tip on it. Try this one. There we go. And then usually this is actually the tricky part. Trying to get the cable out of here without breaking it. There we go. We actually got it. I've had some other ones that were really hard. Trying to get that out of there. Guess I'll throw that in a coffee can with all the other ones I have. I'll unwind the cable. Hopefully it's not too long, or I have to cut it. Okay, unwound. So it's gonna go. Let's just take this off. You're going up there. That's going to go down there. I don't think I'm going to have to cut it. Well, we were getting there, but I got it laid out, and I decided that it's too long, so I'm going to have to cut it. It's a lot longer than I like to be. I don't want it sticking way out there like that. So, but I did put it on there, but now I'm going to have to take it off. I actually, well, you can't even see it. You might be able to see it. I actually over-tightened it and squashed it. But I'm going to take it off because in order to cut this, the shield on this, you got to pull the inner cable out. When I pull the inner cable out, I'm going to just clip that off, just because it bugs me that I've squashed it too much. These here, basically, they're pretty simple. You just put you widen them open with, you can stick a standard screwdriver in there, spread them open. Stick your cable in there, then clamp it down, but you don't want to clamp it down too tight. Just enough where it starts to clamp down where the cable doesn't move, but you don't want to go too far because the casing on this can be squashed pretty easy. Sometimes that works, sometimes these won't work. You cannot get them to tighten up, and that's where I put a hose clamp on handlebar and the cable, and that fixes it. And that is the best way to fix that. A lot of times I've tightened these down, clamped them, and put the hose clamp just for added security because it's just what I usually do. I don't know if I'm going to do that on this mower or not, but I recently saw, it was a while back on a lawnmower forum I look at fairly often. There was a thread about, a post about a similar situation where the cable, I don't know if it was like a plastic control and the clip for it broke, I don't quite remember. But there were several people put a lot of ideas and comments on that post, on that forum, about how to fix it. And I thought some of them were pretty ridiculous. Some of them were good. Somebody actually suggested use a hose clamp. And I even got on there and posted and said, yeah, like the other guy said, use a hose clamp. I do it on all my mowers, you know, it works. A few people were like, oh, that's, you know, they comment. They weren't like real mean with the comments, but they were like, there were people were still giving suggestions. I think somebody may have even tried to put down the hose clamp idea, which is ridiculous because it works. So on this mower here, which is my JCPenney grass handler, I've added this control to it. It's just an old one, and I actually have this on reverse of the original way it was made for, so you can see that the actual clamp was on this end, but I'm running the cable out this end. So I just have the hose clamp on there. That's what it looks like. You just adjust it, tighten up your clamp, you're done. It's simple. No need to make it more difficult than that. Just a cheap hose clamp. I think one thing that really irritated me about on that forum post was people are saying, oh, just go out and buy a $25 new throttle control cable that comes with the whole control here and new cable and everything. It's all new. And it doesn't cost that much. Well, you can get a hose clamp for way cheaper than $20. And it's a lot simpler. I mean, yeah, you have a hose clamp on there. Maybe you don't like the look of it, I guess, but for people like me, I don't care. Just my 2 cents on that. Okay, got the cable back off. There's the end that I squashed, but it was still working. It wasn't really an issue. And then this is the other end. I'm trying to decide which end I want to cut. I think I'm just going to cut that in. Now I actually forgot to take this Before I took this off the mower, I was supposed to mark how long I wanted it, but I can still do that. It's not a big deal. Then we're just going to pull it out. So now we got the inner cable out of the outer cable shield casing. I'm going to go ahead and clip that off if I can without messing it up more. File the sharp edge. It's a little sharp. Good file. This file's not so sharp anymore. Should be okay. So now we're going to go kind of stick this back on the mower. Figure out how long I need it to be. So I'm just holding it up at the top, running it down the handlebars. Hold it with my hand, keep it lined up straight. I think I like to leave a little bow out on the edge just because I don't like the cable getting kinked. And plus, to be honest, I kind of like the look, but I don't want it like sticking way out. Somewhere in there. So we're going to cut off like that much. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so now we're going to take, well, actually, we're going to take, let's see, which end was which? I don't even remember now. I suppose it doesn't matter anymore, honestly. We're going to take some, it's just 30 weight oil, and just get some down in there. You can use WD-40 if you like, but I prefer just a little bit thicker oil so it lasts a little longer. And we take the end that we cut off, just feed it back through. And we should have it coming out the other end. There we go. Now, if you already know how long you need it, you can do it off the mower, but I think I'm going to stick this back on the mower, at least temporarily, so I can figure out exactly how long I need that to be. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this. So we actually have our clamp down here. The cable's going to clamp in that. I usually like to put it about there, leave that much sticking out. So we're in the off position, but we're going to push it all the way to the fast position. I guess I better make sure it's in the fast position up at top first. Full speed. And then we're going to somewhere in there. Anywhere in here is okay. Probably somewhere like that. We're full speed here. So we're going to need to put our bend, our first bend about right here. Our Z bend, or Z bend, as Bruce Pender calls it in Canada. This can be kind of tricky if you don't know what you're doing, but a good couple pairs of needle nose pliers should make it pretty easy. It's kind of a pain because the cable likes to have a mind of its own and move around. It's kind of hard to hold it where you actually want it. I think I'm going to have to get another pair of needle nose pliers in a second. These ones here want to flex on me. You probably can't even see what I'm doing here, but hopefully you get the idea. Nope. Okay. I'll be right back. Those ones just want to keep twisting. Okay. These are a bit bigger pair than I'd like to use, but hopefully they will work. They should work. This is the hard part here, is trying to do this. And see, these ones want to flex too. That's irritating. Kind of made it fatter than I like. In fact, way fatter than I like. That's irritating. Oh well. I guess we'll just cut it off and try it. Actually, I might want to wait. Let's see, I think we can slip this through here. Yeah, it'll work. Like I said, it's a little bit wider. It's hard to do unless you got a really good sturdy pair of small needle nose pliers. But the problem is the smaller you go with the needles, the tips, the more they like to flex. That's fine, that'll work. We'll just cut this off right about there. Should look something like that. That's interesting. I just knocked over a container of water where it just poured down right where I was kneeling and had my tools. I had that tightened up just so it wouldn't come loose while I was mowing. Let's see, so fast position on top. I don't got that clamped down up there yet, but somewhere in there like that. Okay, we're probably going to have to come back and adjust this, but I'm just going to lightly snug it up for right now, because I still got to clamp the cable up at the top up there. Okay, I got it tightened up at the top. Fast. Yep. And all the way off. I hear it, I see it. You probably can't see it on camera, but it's shutting off the contact switch for the shut off. It's moving smoothly. Okay, I do see one problem though. I need to tighten this up. Okay, it's working smoothly too. And you can hear you actually hear the throttle linkage on the carburetor moving back and forth from low speed, fast speed. So for right now, this seems to be clamped okay. So I don't think I'm going to bother with a hose clamp right now. But if I did put one on here, I'd put it like down here. And it does kink the cable a little bit, but honestly, it's not enough where it's going to hurt anything. How this particular control is designed, the cable really runs out sideways a little bit. Usually, when you do put a hose clamp on here, you're going to want to get it as close as possible, but you could put it down here and it would still work fine, as long as you have a little bit of a crimp there to hold the cable in place. So now, I just got to get some zip ties, and zip tie that to the handlebar, and then fix that. And then, I guess real quick here, I'm going to put some oil on. So we oiled the cable, inner cable, but I'm going to put a little dab of oil right here, where the Z-bend goes in there. A little bit there. I'm just going to go and put some down in here where the control moves back and forth. And then just a little more on there, and we should be good for oil for a while anyway. Oh yeah, it already moves way smoother. Feels like new now. There's a little bit of a, I could probably adjust that on there, but it depends on how, it's just fractional. That's because it's hitting the stop down there. So what you do to eliminate that is, because what we're doing is we're not quite hitting the stop here. It's just very small amount. You loosen that cable back up, just pull it out just a little bit, and we'll eliminate. But you don't want to go too far where it doesn't go full throttle either. Then of course you want to make sure it shuts off. Now, in theory, or 99% of the time, if you've got this where it's hitting full throttle, it should pull back and shut off. I've had only one out of a lot of these Briggs powered mowers, that this bracket, for whatever reason, the control here, for whatever reason, how it was designed, I had to adjust it just right for it to go full throttle and then still hit the contact switch. For whatever reason, I don't know if something was bent, but it didn't want to contact the contact switch when I had it set for the shutoff position after I had it set for full speed. I think something was probably bent a little bit, or the contact switch was just worn down or something. But that there, I had to set it like just right. But most of the time, 99% of the time, these mowers, you won't have that issue. You just set it full throttle, set it full throttle here, set it full throttle down there, and it should tighten up the screw, and you should be able to shut off and go full throttle. And if it doesn't, you just fine tune it down there. Alright, should probably add a little bit of oil down there too. Just to keep it all lasting longer and operating smoother. So we're just going to put a little bit on there. This is 30 weight oil, like I said. I'm going to put some up here, around here on this control here, because there is actually a where this control here pivot moves back and forth, there's actually a little indent on there for your idle position. And if you keep it oiled, that little indent, if you keep it oiled, will last a long time. But if you don't, it can wear out, and you throttle up and down a lot. If you just run your mower like you start it, run it full fast speed all the time, then shut it off, no problem. But if you're like somebody like me that's always adjusting it or turning it down low speed for short grass, then high speed again for tall grass, or adjusting it for your whatever height of grass you're mowing, then or you just use your mower a lot, that little indent can wear out, and then you'll lose that. Okay, kind of got it buttoned up here. Got some zip ties on there, a couple of pop rivets on there, a little one there, a little bit slightly larger one there. There was actually already a hole in the metal under there, so I just drilled through the plastic and put that one in. I thought about putting one here, but it would still wouldn't be straight, so I just put this little one in the corner there, drilled it. It's just plastic, so it's all it needs, just for looks. I think it turned out alright. Probably what they should have had from the factory. And we're working pretty good. Just gotta actually take it out and start it and run it, see how it works. I think I came back and I adjusted it a little bit down there. I think I may have went too far, so I'm gonna readjust it again. And actually, after I put the zip ties on the cable, it changed the tension on the cable a little bit, and I had to readjust it down there just a little bit. So I'm gonna take this out and see if it'll start. So since we oiled everything up on it, and it works so smooth, I noticed one point when I was mowing there, the speed was actually going back down on it, with all the vibration and everything from it running. But I can fix that. All that is let's move this forward. It's because it's so loose. But see this tab right here? I don't know if you can see that tab. And when you move it forward, fast speed. So all you got to do, because most of the time when you're mowing, you're going to be mowing in fast speed, high speed anyway. So just bend that tab when it's out. Just bend that tab down a little bit. Well, I can't do now, but with a good pair of pliers you can. You don't want it too much where it hits on here where you can't get it all the way fast speed, but just enough where it rubs on here, drags on there, and that'll fix that. That's all I'm going to have to do to this. But not a big deal. It actually started on the first pull. Now I had moved the mower around. I just put some gas in it. Checked the oil. Had to add a little oil. Moving around might have sloshed the gas around to fill the reservoir in the tank, but yeah, it started on the first pull, and this thing's been sitting for quite a while now. I haven't ran it for a while, since when I filmed the last video footage of it mowing, and the part before this. So yep, running pretty good. Now we just got to get it cleaned up. Well, we got it all cleaned up. Actually shined up a little better than I expected. Not too bad for not running for over 20 years. A few little spots I missed, but I just wanted to get it cleaned up where it looks better, because I plan on mowing with it more. It's just going to get dirty again, so yeah, I think it turned out pretty nice. And I was able to get that there cleaned up. You can read that. Never seen one before with the cubic inches marked on it. And I am currently running this only at 3,000 RPM. Well, it got a 3,000 RPM governor spring on it. I have a 3600 I could put on it, but I don't think I need to run it that hard. But I may later. I'm not entirely sure what this originally had. I have the original spring somewhere, but I think it got stretched, or I redid the end on it. I don't remember. I'd have to find it anyway. But it's got some rough spots, but that paint, the paint's good, actually shined up really nice. I'm happy with it. Unfortunately, the wheel cap, hubcap there cracked on me. I think when I started out, in the first video it was all there, and as slowly as I worked on the mower and mowed with it, more pieces broke off. But oh well. Plastic was just old on it. The grass catcher is not in bad shape. It still works. Probably have to replace it eventually, but it runs good, starts good. Everything's pretty much all working on it. Well, I think that's going to be it for this one. I'll probably do a mowing video in the future, just it mowing, that's all. But yeah, so thanks everyone for watching this. It's been a fun one. I've got quite a few other mowers I'll probably do some videos on. This is one of my other hobbies. I enjoy besides radio stuff. So anyway, this is the Ace Hardware 20-inch 3.5 horsepower Briggs. Oh, and there's the model number. I don't think I ever showed that. Well, I don't think that's going to show up on camera, but I'm going to put it down in the description on the video, the full model number. It's kind of long. So, yeah, this mower deck's made by MTD. And of course they made, well, nearly 95% of all the mowers out there. There was actually some, there was other mowers just like this with different name brands. The one that I know off the top of my head was Montgomery Ward's. They had some ones identical to this. And they had ones that were identical to this, but self-propelled versions as well. This one, of course, is not. But I'd like to see what other Ace Hardware ones from this time that they had. I don't know if Ace Hardware had a self-propelled one or not. That would be interesting. Not a whole lot of information on these. I think this is the only video on one of these on YouTube right now. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching.